Throughout my time playing Five Nights at Freddy's, I've noticed numerous small details that just really bug me, whether it's a bad hitbox, annoying double click, or just a flat out bug. So I thought, why not make a video discussing them? I tried to avoid mechanics that are annoying but work as intended, as well as just whole characters and games. These will mostly be minor things that just get on my nerves. I won't be covering any games past Ultimate Custom Night because I haven't played them, and I will mostly be discussing max mode related things because that's normally what I play. But there will be other things too. And finally, this will be based on only the PC versions of these games, as that's what I play on. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into the video. In the FNAF 1 Custom Night, it takes forever to adjust the AI values because you can't hold them and you have to set them all manually. Also, why doesn't it default to 2020-2020? That's all anyone plays in the Custom Night anyways. When Withered Golden Freddy spawns in the hallway, he can be extremely buggy and weird and just kill you randomly. I've lost multiple runs to this. When a video error occurs in FNAF 3, certain phantom animatronics can still spawn on cameras despite not even being visible. Okay, I know this is kind of the point, but why do the jump scares in FNAF 4 have to literally break your eardrums every time you play? After a while, this isn't even scary anymore, it's just annoying. In Sister Location and FNAF 1, the amount of time you have to watch Foxy is completely random, making it inconsistent whether he will move or not. Also, once he attacks, he can reset to stage 1 or 2, and there is no guarantee for either as it is completely random. If you die in Pizzeria Simulator, it takes forever, and I mean forever, to start another round. You have to go back to the menu, which already takes forever to load, then hit enter, select continue, then go through your pizzeria inventory and your pizzeria just to try again. If Old Man Consequences decides to spawn while you're on Toy Freddy's camera, he will block your view of Mr. Hugs, which happens a lot more than you would expect. In FNAF 3, the time it takes to reboot a system is just random, which is bad game design. For some reason, in Ultimate Custom Night, Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica are really inconsistent. Sometimes you can get away with barely using the mask, and sometimes they just decide to kill you even if you put the mask on way earlier. In Sister Location, the time it takes for Ballora to kill you once you lose all your power is completely random. Why is the night length in FNAF 1 so damn long? It feels like you have to wait an eternity before getting to the end of the night. When Funtime Freddy yells Bon Bon go get him, it takes significantly longer for Bon Bon to hit the door than when he yells get ready for a surprise. This makes timing the doors in pre-patch 1020 very hard. The footsteps sound that plays in FNAF 4 when an animatronic leaves your door sounds just like the sound that plays when there's movement in another door, causing confusion at times. In FNAF 4, the animatronics leave on exactly 3-second intervals, which makes clearing them from the doors very inconsistent. To make it even more inconsistent, the animatronics sometimes take like 3 seconds to start breathing, which is really annoying when you're trying to deal with everyone really fast. Why does the FNAF 1 cursor feel way more sensitive than in all the other games? This stupid cursor is so annoying to play with and makes quick movements way harder than they need to be. In Ultimate Custom Night, if you block off multiple characters at once, at the same time, it will only reward you with 1 Faz coin, even though you blocked off multiple characters. If you need to look at a door and Nightmare Foxy enters the other one, you're just screwed because he instantly gets in without letting you react. Sometimes in Ultimate Custom Night, Foxy will take forever to switch with Bonnie, leading to an almost unavoidable Foxy death. In Sister Location, the majority of the time you exit the game, your cursor just locks itself in place. If you buffer a button in Ultimate Custom Night before the night starts, it'll normally register the button the frame you load in. But for some reason, with specifically the systems, this randomly decides to not work at times. But why does this stupid thing not work? In Sister Location, Biddy Bab works on a system of 3-second intervals. However, these intervals are just really weird and inconsistent sometimes. Sometimes Biddy Bab will leave the first interval, and sometimes she'll wait to leave as long as 3 of them. This doesn't really affect much about normal 1020, but can be an absolute pain when you're playing pre-patch or going for a green run. If Springtrap quickly runs to the glass after being lured away already, he can run past the glass before the audio lure cooldown even finishes. In the FNAF 2 Custom Night, the animatronic AI levels are capped at certain numbers, so 1020 mode in reality looks more like this. You think this would help, but in reality, it just makes it much more difficult and RNG based because everyone is very inconsistent. In Ultimate Custom Night, why do these cameras have to move like this? Can't they just like stay still? This wouldn't really be an issue, but the buttons like the plushie and death coin buttons move too, so you can't just learn where the buttons are and click them really fast through muscle memory. Specifically in Sister Location and Ultimate Custom Night, the first attempt of the games might bug out and not let you use the keyboard at all. Why does the maintenance panel have to be so weird to open quickly? You have to go all the way to the left and then move your mouse back to the middle just to open the panel, which is not fun to do really fast anytime you want to reboot something. Okay, I know this is an intended mechanic, but the RNG power out at the end of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 is so stupid. If you die in FNAF 2, you have a chance to be met with one of the several mini-games that take forever to finish, and you're better off just closing the game and reopening it. Normally, you can track Springtrap by listening to the background ambience to know what camera he's in. However, Phantom Freddy makes the exact same noise, throwing the whole strategy off. I wouldn't go into too much detail, but here's the visual representation that best shows what I'm trying to tell you. Sorry if it's a bit confusing. If you buffer one of the doors in FNAF 4, it takes an extra half a second-ish for the doors to actually close. In the Sister Location Custom Night, if you look to the far left of the screen, this mini arena covers your cursor, so if you mess up on it and she gets to the left of the screen, it makes it really hard to save yourself and click her nose. Toy Freddy intervals perfectly line up with Funtime Foxy's showtimes, making no death coin runs absolute torture to play. In the start of a FNAF 4 night, you can't click the closet and you have to do this with your cursor to get it to work, and even then it still bugs out sometimes and makes you do this multiple times. Why do Afton and Bellora's intervals have to line up so well in Ultimate Custom Night? It makes Bellora very difficult to hear when you have Afton making a bunch of noise. When you record a FNAF 1 gameplay in OBS, it likes to randomly do this for some reason. If you have a lot of noise present in Ultimate Custom Night, it can cause Bellora's music to just straight up not even render. Withered Foxy in FNAF 2 is just super inconsistent and can kill you for seemingly no reason sometimes. If you die in Ultimate Custom Night, Rockstar Freddy has a chance to give you power-ups even if you already have the max amount of them, which just wastes your time. Why is there so much static on the FNAF 3 cameras whenever you switch cams? It makes trying to find Springtrap quickly much more difficult. Turning on visual effects in Ultimate Custom Night makes some hitboxes really stupid, but luckily there is a crazy fix to this, and that is just not using visual effects. Mind-blowing, I know. In FNAF 4, there's a weird bug where Foxy and Cupcake, and maybe even more characters, can kill you even though they're despawned and have not been replaced by Nightmare. I'm sure everyone saw this coming, but in Ultimate Custom Night, the wet floor sign is impossible to double-click, and is the only thing that makes Nightmare Yawn somewhat difficult at all. In FNAF 3, there is this weird glass lure bug, where even if you lure Springtrap back, he just decides to run past the glass anyways. Luckily, this is extremely rare though. In Ultimate Custom Night, you can only nose boop in Office 1. Like, come on, Scott. Bonbon is right there. Why can't you boop his nose? This is just sad. In FNAF 1, similar to the wet floor sign, double-clicking these lights are impossible. And also similar to that, in FNAF 3, double-clicking these vent cams to seal a vent is inconsistent too, which really doesn't help in aggressive nightmare mode when he leaves the vent super fast. In Sister Location, there's a cooldown when shocking the camera animatronics. In FNAF 3, the time it takes to seal a vent is random. Why does literally everything in FNAF games have to be random? In UCN, Trash Gang and Helpy can cover things you need to see to survive, like Golden Freddy and Nightmare BB. This isn't as bad with Helpy because you can click him, but with Trash Gang, it's just random and just unfair, especially when you're coin farming. There's a random 1 in 7 chance for Springtrap to just not listen to audio lures. Why is this a thing? You don't even want to know how many runs I've lost to this. What makes it worse is that you really can't do anything about this, but just accept death unless it's 5 AM. In Ultimate Custom Night Office 1, Scrap Baby will cover Helpy if you are looking on the far left. All of the vent animatronics in FNAF 2 are guaranteed to leave after 5 consecutive seconds with the mask on except Toy Bonnie, who can just stay there as long as he wants. This change alone turns 1020 from an ultra-free challenge into an RNG nightmare. If you exit FNAF 1 while having something else open, it makes you have to re-full screen everything, which is really frustrating. Certain characters in Ultimate Custom Night, mainly Toy Bonnie, Toy Chica, and Ballora, but also other characters, will just disable cameras when they spawn and not let you look at it until they're gone. You do not want to know how many NDC runs I've lost to this because I can't tell which plushie is in Cam 2. If you put the cams up really quickly after dropping them in Sister Location Custom Night, Yendo will not despawn and instead stay there draining your oxygen. If you get jump scared in Ultimate Custom Night, you can hold escape quickly before that jump scare finishes, letting you get into the next game faster. Now who wouldn't want to do that? Well, if you do that on Golden Freddy, it just for some reason completely crashes the game. This especially sucks because you die to Golden Freddy a lot and your muscle memory trains you to do this. In FNAF 4, if you're holding control while trying to turn towards or away from the bed, the game just won't let you. If this happens in blind mode, it completely throws you off and often leads to death. In UCN, while Nightmare, Fredbear, or Nightmare are in the doors and you close the door but they're not fully gone yet and you decide to use the cameras right after, the game just kills you even though you had the door closed. In Sister Location, there is this really stupid door closing cooldown where you have to wait a split second between closing doors, and if you have to deal with multiple animatronics quickly, this can be a huge pain. In Ultimate Custom Night, if you use the mask and take it off too quickly afterwards, it won't despawn Golden Freddy. And if you don't have crazy good reaction time and use the mask quickly again after, you're just gonna die. In FNAF 3, if you click Nightmare Mode, there's a random bug where it just sends you into a different night instead of Nightmare Mode. If you move your mouse over a Faz coin on the camera, it collects it. That's basic common knowledge. But if you do it too fast, even though you can literally see your mouse move over it, you won't actually get the coin. After you complete 420 mode in FNAF 4, you can't play it again unless you either delete your entire save and get back there, or edit the game files of the game. If you death coin a character in Ultimate Custom Night, the next time you view the menu, it'll show them deactivated. This is annoying for two main reasons. One, because you have to turn them back on every time, obviously. And two, when you complete a night, you still get the points for the character you death coined, but they show deactivated, thus causing people to believe you didn't beat 5020, and you instead beat 4920. If you don't believe me, look at Dako's 5020 completions comment section. There are literally hundreds of people accusing him of cheating even though he didn't cheat. I hope you enjoyed and I didn't just waste your time. Before I end the video, I just want to mention please don't send hate to anyone over this video. I just made this video for fun. Anyways, thank you for your time and have a great day.